I've got the football on my third monitor. You've got to remember not to start cheering because you're on you're on the broadcast this time. Uh-huh. No, it's not working very well.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello everybody and welcome to Road America for the final round of the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship Live. on Apex Racing TV. Happy that you could all join us here on this Wednesday evening. If you are joining us and you live in England, I'm not sure what you're doing here, because of course there are the Euro 2020 semi-finals on at the moment. They just started. But if you are joining us, thanks for joining us. And yeah, welcome to Road America. It's a very long circuit. It's a very fun circuit to drive, especially in the Porsche Cup cars. And hopefully we can get 2 brilliant races here tonight. Staying bed here on commentary with Marco Barbanera alongside, and also on production doing double duty here, Marco. And we've got some championships to decide, and a lot of drivers out there hoping to get their hands on some prizes.
You are absolutely correct, Dane. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Road America has got a little bit of another graphical update recently in the latest patch. The biggest change that I think is fitting for tonight's race, the old Speedville bridge, there it is on my screen at least, and on your screen as well, guys, is back. I mean, I miss that so much. Why did they remove it in favor of that bland white boring bridge, you know, Dane? So I'm happy that it is back just in time for this final round of the season. And on your screen we should have the standings for you, the pro and the amateur classes.
Yeah,
The
so we've got
overall,
the
I should
championship
say.
standings.
Not pro, overall.
So, yeah, well, mostly pro. We've got most of the pro drivers on there, but a couple of AM drivers sneaking on there as well. Pascal Costa leads the championship ahead of Roger Christensen. Those two had pretty good rounds at races at Motorsport last time out. Costa has a nice lead heading into this final round, but with drop scores added, I think anything can still happen. I don't believe he's secured the championship title just yet. Christensen in second. Grabowski, reigning champion, of course, in the series, not looking like he's going to be able to do it this season. So that's unfortunate for him. They are your top 3, and looking further down the order, you might have spotted Max Wolf down in 10th. Well, he's actually leading the amateur championship by 50 points ahead of Paul Langer, with Kev Copeland just behind him. I believe all of the top 3 are still potentially in play for that title, but I think it is going to be a battle between Wolf and Langer. Langer's got a lot to do though, Marco, if he wants to try and secure that title. He was leading for a while, but Wolf has slowly creeped up on him, and they're doing a fantastic job out there in front as we head into the final round tonight.
Absolutely, as we see the drivers taking part in qualifying, as you can see right now on your screen, this is very much a Norwegian-dominated top 10 right now, with this guy, Nils Isaksen, I should say, that has, by the way, should have a new paint. And Kamil Krapowski second, his teammate Mateusz Nogai in third, and the Danish driver, what is he doing up there tonight? Matthias Berg also. He's like me, doesn't feel the hype for his national team apparently. We have a couple of Englishmen out there as well. So congratulations to them.
I have noticed that quite a few of the drivers, Marco, in the driver channels on the Discord server, they've been saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna make tonight. I've got to take a break from racing for a bit," or making all sorts of excuses. But we all know why you're not racing, so don't you worry. We don't judge you. We know why you're not racing here tonight. But we have got quite a few of them with us today. Copeland, Parker, Stringer, all in the top half of the AM field in qualifying at the moment. But as you said, Marco, lots of Norwegians up at the top. We've got used to that, but it is interesting to see, especially when you've got the Dane of Burke in there as well, which is a very similar flag. Then it does look like the field is dominated by drivers from that country. You also got Thomas Vangen down in 12th. He's quite a bit faster than 12th. He's got a couple of off tracks, and I think there he is. He's just ended up off the track outside of turn 5. So yeah, the couple of the other drivers should really be up there as well. And yeah, lots of Norwegians in the series. 2 minutes left in qualifying, and Isaksen leads only just ahead of Grabowski. That's just over 100th of a second. Really small margins here, especially around this long lap. 2 minutes and 7 seconds is the fastest time at the moment. So yeah, it's pretty impressive that they managed to get so close together.
Dane, let me spend a couple of words on this fantastic racetrack. Certainly my favorite North American racetrack, one that I think it is maybe doesn't have the required recognition on our side of the pond, this is as good as it gets in terms of a complete and challenging racetrack. It has every kind of corner you want. It is dangerous in real life, very little runoff areas, a lot of grass, some absolutely unforgettable corner, and the bridge. I mean, look at that. I mean, you know, I want to delete the image of that boring white bridge from the back of my mind. It's going to take a while, but I was so happy that iRacing put it back. I mean, what perfect backdrop for our, you know, and we just had, of course, the NASCAR Cup Series and the Xfinity Series we're racing here last Sunday. One of our good friends of Apex Racing TV, Ryan Eversley of Dinner with Racers, so we did plenty of their broadcasts over the years, made his Cup debut. I was so proud, you know. I am able to say a friend of mine raced in the NASCAR Cup Series. So actually he raced on Saturday at the Glen. He finished second in TCR in the Pilot Challenge, and then basically ended the race and still in his driver's suit took the plane and flew halfway across the country to Elkhart Lake. So yeah, I mean, those are the kind of racing. I cannot think of two cars more different than the TCR and the NASCAR Cup car to drive on back-to-back days.
Yeah, I don't think that's the easiest transition to make, but obviously Wisconsin not particularly close, if my geography is correct, and it's sort of in the middle of the country near the top. Watkins Glen on the east coast, with up in New York. So yeah, not the shortest journey ever, especially not when you're going between two cars like that. I mean, those cars basically only share four wheels and an engine, and everything else is basically different. They don't even have doors, the NASCAR cars, so you can't even say they have doors. So yeah, very different cars, and yeah, that's very impressive stuff. Isaacson is on pole position there. We've got the qualifying results up on the screen. Kamil Grabowski looking to try and take the championship here today. 17 thousandths of a second off of the pole position there. Matthias Neuhaus, his teammate in third, then Matthias Berg, Roger Christensen, Joe Vagard Godestad, Thomas Torp, Toro Berven, Lewis Ward, and Max Kester rounding out the top 10. Paul Langer gets on amateur pole in 11th. Then we've got Thomas Rangan. James Parker starts in second on the AM grid. Max Wolf, championship leader, of course, in 15th. He'll be wanting to make a couple overtakes throughout this race to try and increase his points haul. Sam Fitzpatrick starts in 16th. Then Kev Copeland, Mark Hutchinson, Thomas Weaver, Kevin Stringer, Joe McCauley, Mark Silcock, and Pascal Costa, who I believe had a qualifying ban or a pit lane start. Marco, I think he had some sort of penalty.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did. I have a bit of a, I used to make the announcement up until a few weeks now. Our good friend Daniel takes care of that. But let's see the drivers with a pit lane start. Yes.
Pascal Costa, Andrea Alberti, and Tom Sluter. The latter of those three drivers, Andrea and Tom, both have to serve 2 pit lane starts because they've racked up that many license points. All right, so 3 drivers starting from the pits, but everybody else is on the grid. The revs are rising. We're about to get underway for the first of tonight's final 2 races of the season. And we go green, and that's a fantastic start for Isaacson. He's already got a half a second lead, and oh dear, there's drivers off into the barriers already. That's Kessler, and I'm not too sure who else that was. I think it might have been Berman in the background though. Isaacson already with a huge lead advantage over Grabowski in second, who has just about kept that second place. He almost lost it off the start. Terrible start for Grabowski, and looks like everybody for the most part making it through cleanly, but that's a lot of wheel spin for Isaacson as they head down the back straight for the very first time today, and that gap is absolutely plummeting. You can see 3.5 tenths of a second. It'll be less than 3 tenths of a second as they head into the braking zone. No one in the top 3 making moves for this first time in towards turn number 5. There goes Ward up the inside of Christensen. He moves up into 5th position on the opening lap, but there is carnage behind, and is everybody going to make it through cleanly? Just about. The small grid for today's race giving them a bit of breathing space, but side by side and around the outside for the race lead, Grabowski, what a move, and it looks like Isaacson might be under pressure from Burke as well for Valenti Sim Racing, and Ward's trying to get himself up into third as well. He just sent it up the inside of Torp.
I have to say, this being the last race of the season, this being the date where there is a massive football game going on, it's pretty strong grid. The crash we saw at the start, usually this is a place with two faces, because rolling starts around here are a mess, because the road surface is very narrow and you go up the hill, so you don't see if there is a wreck in front. We've seen over the years in GT3 especially horrors, but it's a bit stranger to have drama at the start with a standing start. That being said, in the end, I think the only driver with a massive issue was Wevior, Macaulay and Berben. Everyone else seems to be doing okay, and Grabowski of course gaining the lead of the race with Burke now in second. And I'm very proud to present to you the indicator, even though I put it in the wrong place with the 14th place. What is the reverse, 12 or 14?
It's 14.
Okay, so the text is wrong. Hold on a second.
So we've got a reverse grid as always in this two-race format, and for the second race the grid will be the results of race number 1, but the top 14 positions will be inverted, which would mean that Thomas Vangen would be put on pole position if we had to take the results as they are now. So keep an eye on that blue highlighted spot there, because that lucky driver will get to start the race 2 from the front. Oh, it's not going well for Isaacson. There goes Ward once again up the inside into turn 5, and he's made that move 2 consecutive laps now. You got to be thinking, if you're Burke, you want to try and get a bit of a lead over it, because otherwise he's going to be sending it on you in a lap's time. But yeah, good move from Ward. He's made up quite a few positions from the start of this race already. Actually has Lewis Ward up 6 from where he started. Highest gain of anyone on the grid at the moment is Mark Silcock, who has gained 7 places. He's down in 15th at the moment. As I say that, he's just lost a place because there is a massive group of cars coming underneath your favorite bridge.
Yes, as you can see, everyone battling for that reverse grid. I'm trying to... No, it wants to say top 12 for some reason, even though I have deleted the entry and refreshed. Somewhere in the memory we were, talking about the X-Files earlier, Dane, with technology. This is another one of those moments. But yeah, great chaos all over the field. At this point, I'll tell you what, that is very distracting. There we go. This is better. And let's follow the drivers, as Grabowski still leading the way from Burke and Ward, your top 3, but top 6, as you can see, still very, very close to each other.
Yeah, I'm looking in my mirrors to find Burke at the moment, because Ward has made that descend up the inside into turn 5 on the first couple of laps, and he is well within range of doing that on this third time of asking as well. Christensen in 6th at the moment. He's lost the position. Torp is up 2. Isaacson down 3. Yeah, he's not had the best start to the race. He of course started on pole position, but it doesn't look like he'll be taking the win as the field heads through what is called turn 3, which is actually turn 2. And it is Costa making his way through the field. Now what's really important for him, if nothing else, is that he gets into the top 14. Because you don't want to be in a situation... Oh no, that's not going to help his chances at all. He's been hit into the rear, or into the side of his car, by one of the other drivers. I'm not entirely sure which one it was.
I think it was Kevin
Stringer. Just got loose on the brakes and slammed into the back of him. It's caused him to run wide, but I don't think he has any damage from it, which is crucial for him. But if he doesn't get into that top 14, he is going to have a horrible, horrible time. And you can just see he just gets a little bit loose there under the brakes, and yeah, collects Costa a little bit. But Costa's got to gain those 4 positions, because if he doesn't, he'll end up behind his main championship rivals on the reverse grid. At least if you finish 14th or 13th in this race, yes, you don't score as many points, but you'll be starting on the front row of the grid, whereas your main rivals are starting down on row 7. So
exactly.
It's really important. We've got to watch out for that because that could be crucial for the championship.
As Paul Lange goes for a run.
Oh dear, someone else behind Brangen.
Yeah, Canada corner. There is a magnet in that runoff area, and Paul Lange was one of the victims. So now Parker goes up to second. He's class. The leader, of course, of the amateurs is Max Wolf, as it's getting tasty at the front. Look at the fantastic action we are having tonight. They are so close to each other. Goderstad and Passoni are arguing over 8th place.
Oh, that's around the outside for Passoni there. That's really brave stuff. And you've also got Sam Fitzpatrick. Oh, and Sam Fitzpatrick's been gifted 2 spots. They come together in the braking zone and take each other out. They won't have too much damage from that, I don't suspect, but they have lost a ton of time and a ton of positions. Look at all of those cars. They'll be looking at that as well and be thinking what could have been there. They were up in very nicely in 8th and 9th and they're thrown all the way in the braking zone of turn 3. Now Parker trying to make a move on Silcock into turn 5. Silcock's gone very wide indeed, trying to go all the way around the outside. No, it's not going to work out. And look at that, there he goes off into the runoff area, almost locking up the inside brakes, and there goes Parker through up into 12th place then, with Copeland just in front of him. He'll be fixing his eyes on him for sure. That's his next target. But they're looking at Burke. He's still not falling away from Grabowski, which is good for him, but he's not losing Ward either, and that's going to be really tough because we've seen Ward make some pretty good overtakes in these first opening few laps. So it's going to be tough for them to separate from each other, especially with these long straights. The draft in these cars is quite powerful, and looks like the drivers behind all using it just to sit behind and keep up. Really, you probably wouldn't expect some of the drivers in this train to be keeping up with the Grabowskis and the Berg, but yeah, they're doing a fantastic job up at the front of sticking with each other, and that could provide for some very good racing later on in the race. I think some of the drivers will be leaving it nearer to the end of the race before they try and make some moves, because they don't want to risk everything in the first half.
Oh no!
The race, oh dear! Well, Max Wolf is loving this. That's Kev Copeland. That car is totaled. Look, you can see what on earth is happening there. That car's not going anywhere that Kev Copeland wants it to go. What has actually happened there? Because he's miles behind Langer. Has Langer run wide and then come back onto the circuit and taken Kev Copeland out? That's exactly what's happened. Both of them with a lot of contact in their cars, and both of them out of this race, and that is huge for the amateur championship. Max Wolf loving it.
Yeah, a lot of drama, and this is creating a big changes in both standings, but especially in the amateur class. With, of course, as you were saying now, it is Max Wolf, and he has 3 seconds and a bit over Parker, so he's really enjoying his day in the sun. And all of his closest rivals are, of course, behind him. They will still reverse very close to each other if things stay the same. And now, fighting for the reverse pole spot are Costa and Goderstad. Of course, Costa has got, bigger fish to fry, but this is, of course, will be a beginning. And he certainly wants to get past the Norwegian driver as they go side by side through the carousel and getting ready for the very scary kink. I tell you what, let's go to the chopper, where Peter Mackay is stationed today. He's not doing commentary, he's on the chopper.
Oh,
that's what I'm told,
he backs out. There we go. Goderstad backed out. Costa was definitely not. He centered around the outside there, and Goderstad looking to the inside of Canada corner. Costa closes that door before it was even open and defends the inside line pretty nicely there indeed. These two very competent drivers indeed. Some of the better drivers, the faster drivers in the series. Goderstad down here because of the incident with Passoni that we saw. and Costa down here because of the penalty. He started from the pits and he's had to work his way up through the field. This is good for Costa though, because he is within that top 14 now. So he's got that buffer. He doesn't necessarily have to catch the drivers in front and overtake them. He is quite happy to sit here and take reverse grid front row. Yeah, that's really important for the German in terms of his championship hopes. But next driver up in front, I was about to say Hutchinson, but it's not anymore because he's gone side by side with Silcock and lost out. Well, actually, no, he's gained a position on Silcock, sorry. And you can see them now heading underneath the cheese bridge. I'm not sure what that bridge is called, but it's got cheese all over it, so that's what it's called in my eyes. They're actually going to try and go side by side now between Hutchinson and Silcock. Silcock around the outside. We saw him try this a couple of laps ago and locked up the inside. He hasn't done that this time, but he has lit up the rear tyres, putting the power down, and he's lost all sorts of time trying to get past Hutchinson. And yeah, he's lost a second now, so he won't be trying that anytime soon. He does actually have to start worrying about Costa, who's right on his tail.
It took me several years before I realized that was indeed cheese and not beer with bubbles on the track. Which makes sense, because I should know that, of course, Wisconsin is famous for its cheese production, but you know, still beer would have been better probably. After I dropped the temperature by like 30 degrees in the room with this bit of trivia, we go back to watching the fight for the lead. Here we have Grabowski, Berg, Ward, Isaacsen and Christiansen. This is your top 5, but very close. Closing in on this top 5 are Thomas Torp and Mateusz Nogai. In the meantime, there at the back, Passoni is getting past Kevin Stringer, who's trying to recover after his moment earlier. Incredibly close at the top, absolutely close. Kevin Copeland, terrible evening for him.
Oh
he
dear.
Took the fast repair and is once again into the gravel at turn 5, so that is not ideal for him at all.
This is almost like watching Pesk, seeing these huge trains forming in. That looks like it's a bit of a sniff up the inside. That's a send up the inside for Ward, and he had to back out of that one, realizing he wasn't going anywhere fast like that. He has got to watch out for Isaacsen behind though. Pole sitter, well, he wants to get back up there, and he's got Ward in his way, so Ward's currently public enemy number 1 for Isaacsen. He wants that 3rd spot back, and yeah, it's going to be tough though, because yeah, all these drivers extremely quick on this circuit in these cars, and a couple of them I've heard are actually going for the Pro Series that is starting. Apparently, it's starting soon. I don't think there's any actual details being released about that yet, Marco. But I know that a couple of the drivers in this series are thinking about trying to get into the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup for next year. So that's interesting to see. And we've of course had a Porsche Esports Super Cup driver, Josh Thompson, who lost his license for not being in the top 20 in this year's championship, but is still going to try and get his license back, as he has had it for the last couple of years or so. But yeah, he was racing in the series early. He's decided that he's going to take a break for a week and not do this round. If you ask me, he wants to watch the football, but he's claimed he doesn't watch football. Now, whether or not I believe that is another story entirely.
I mean, he's in the best position possible, because the Isle of Man doesn't have a national team, no? So he can root for whichever home nation is doing better. In this case, England. Dick the rule is if you're born in Isle of Man or Jersey, yeah, you can pick whichever of the 4 national teams you want to represent, like. So, and there is
goodbye wheel. It's gone. It's rolling down the circuit. Oh, there's someone else. Silcock and Hutchinson as well, off in the gravel in the background. So was there contact here, or did 3 people just spin at the same time? I think it might have just been 3 people spinning at the same time. There goes Hutchinson off.
Missed the corner completely. And the same mistake for Silcock, but Silcock spun instead of heading straight for the barrier. By the way, your reverse pole sitter right now is Kevin Stringer. And let's see if he's gaining or losing on Thomas Bevior. Well, gaining and losing, but he's so close, it's impossible to make any kind of calculation as we head into the final 3 minutes of the race and change, of course, here at Road America. Now, we don't have pit stops in this series, so the drivers can fill up their car, you know, they can finish the race on 1 tank of fuel. Of course, they always try to shed as much weight as possible, therefore you try to do that here, but you need to be very careful, Dane, because the entire final portion of the track is uphill. So if you run out of fuel after Canada corner, you are done.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before in a GT3 race, I think it was, where a driver ran out of fuel. He got about halfway up that final hill on the start-finish straight, and then the car stopped and just started rolling back down it, and that was really sad to watch. What's equally sad to watch is when drivers just stay in a train. Come on, guys! I know you can do it. You can make some overtakes happen in the last couple of minutes. Costa, meanwhile, moving up into 10th position. He's on a mission. He is starting all the way back down in 21st position, and yeah, he's up into 10th already. 13 places gained. He started 23rd, so 13 places gained for the German, and he's looking pretty strong. Next person on the track for him is Wolf, but he's 4 seconds in front, so I don't think he'll be able to catch him in time. But we are on the penultimate lap of the race, Marco, because there's only going to be 1 more lap after this. Do you think anyone can challenge Grabowski for the win?
I think they can. The question is, do they want to challenge him? Because it is a situation where if you make a mistake here, you know, let's say you are Burke and you attack Grabowski and it doesn't work, you might lose more than 1 place, maybe 2, 3, 4, you know, so it's a bit of a risk versus reward. Of course, we want drivers to push, but in the end they are the one risking their championship, whilst we are not. So we'll see. It's the last race of the season. Some of these drivers don't have anything left to play for, except maybe pride in the positioning in the standings. So but I'm expecting more aggression in race 2. Let's see if they want to try something here in the last lap of race 1. By the way, we should see in a second Barney frantically wave his white flag, telling us that it is indeed the last lap, and he should be on the right side of your screen. No.
Oh,
there on the left. There he is.
There he is. Love to see it. There he goes. He is a very, very enthusiastic and fit man, is Barney. He waves that flag constantly throughout the day. All of the different official races on iRacing, there are hundreds, if not thousands. And he's there waving the flag for them. He is at every circuit all of the time. He manages to be in everywhere at once. And on the final lap of the race, we're finally getting some racing. Grabowski defends the inside, and there goes Burke. He's going to try around the outside. No, he's not. He's going to sit back, try and get a good exit out of here. And you know what? He's actually done it. Grabowski just able to keep ahead as they make their way into this middle sector. Very tricky to make anything work through here, as Wangen has just inherited that reverse pole position. That's a really tight battle though between himself and Wevior, so that's going to be close. We've also got Parker off the circuit, losing a lot of time too, so still got to watch out for that battle for that 14th spot. But heading through the carousel now, it looks like this will be the finishing order. No one able to make anything work into turn 1. and no one able to make anything work into turn 5 either. Those are the main overtaking opportunities on the circuit. So Grabowski, he has only one mission now, and that is just don't mess up the braking into Canada corner. And it sounds simple enough, but it is extremely easy to make a mockery of that braking zone. He's done an absolutely brilliant job there. Very safe indeed, doesn't even take the bump on the outside that might gain you half a tenth. And now through the final corner he goes. And it's been basically a flawless drive from him. Is he going to make it around the final corner? Yes, he does. And with the 2.5 tenth gap, he's not going to lose that going up the hill. He's got a lap car in front of him, but that doesn't matter. All that matters is that checkered flag, and Grabowski takes the win in race number 1. Burke 0.2 of a second behind, just couldn't get in front. And Ward, half a second back, couldn't get any higher than 3rd, but still did a brilliant job to move up the grid. He's gained 6 places from where he started. Isaacson in 4th, then Christensen, Nogai, Torp, Sam Fitzpatrick in 8th, ahead of his teammate Max Wolf, who takes the amateur win. Overall, he was in 9th, and Costa from 23rd on the grid and not on the grid, from 23rd and starting in the pits, 10th at the end of the first race. He will start quite close to the front of that inverted grid. Speaking of which, Godestad, Parker, Passoni and Wangen starting on pole position for that second race that is coming up in just a few moments time. We still have quite a few drivers left to finish the race, and that's because Kev Copeland was about 100 meters or so in front of Kamil Grabowski when he crossed the line, so he's got to do this whole lap again. He's currently only halfway through it.
Let's see if we can go back and see what happened at the very start of the race then, while we wait for Kev to finish his lap. So here we are looking at Thorberben. Oh, that is what happened then. Oh! And you see a poor mirror being sent outside of the premises here at Road America. So this is the crash. They explained the crash at the beginning. So it was Berven and Kessler, the 2 drivers that were involved in that. And now, all of a sudden, magically, Kev Copeland, who's getting all this free camera time, is at Canada corner.
I wonder if he'll slow down and make a bit of a show out of finishing the race. I know that some drivers like to do that. If they know they're the last person, they will make a show for the broadcast. But I don't think Kev's going to do that. He just wants to get this race over and done with and move on to the next one, doesn't he? He's had enough of this race, I think. Across the line, he comes to finish 21st. Somebody still sat there on the circuit. Not too sure who that was. One of the SCCR drivers by the looks of things. But that is it for race number 1. And Mark, that was a pretty good one, I think. We didn't get to see too many lead changes, unfortunately. They sort of just sat in their 6-7 man train, but throughout the field, lots of action. And race 1 results are up on the screen. And who else but Kamil Grabowski to take the win, closing the gap to Pascal Costa. The championship definitely not over yet. Matthias Burke in 2nd, then Lewis Ward, Niels-Erik Isaacson, Roger Christensen, Mateusz Nogash, Thomas Torp, Sam Fitzpatrick, Max Wolf taking the win in the Anfield. Pascal Costa running out the top 10. Then Joe Vegard Godestad, he was involved in that incident early on with Simone Passoni, and he had to work his way back up through the field. James Parker in 12th, Simone Passoni in 13th, and Thomas Wangen on reverse grid pole, finishing in 14th. Then Thomas Vivior, Kevin Stringer, Mark Silcock, Max Kessler in 18th for Impulse Racing. Then a minute down, Tori Bervin, Joe McCauley in 20th, Kev Copeland finishing on the lead lap because he did manage to get his car back to the pits without taking the tow in 21st. Mark Hutchinson, 2 laps down, 22nd. I don't think he finished the race. And Paul Lange, I actually got some information about him. He wasn't just making mistakes, his wheel disconnected. And he is currently having technical issues, which means he can't start the second race. So it looks like Max Wolf might just have the championship in the bag.
Very unfortunate news for him, of course. Now we take a very short break. with a message from our good friends at SDK Gaming, and we will be back in time, I promise you, for Race 2. Don't go away.
Hello and welcome back to Road America. We've just had race number 1 in the final round, round number 9 of the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship for Season 3. And it was a pretty good one. Hopefully we can get a little bit more racing up at the front for race number 2, the very final race of the season. It's been a long one. We've had a lot more than 24 races, I think it is, at this point in the season. And it all comes down to this. I think the Amateur Championship pretty much decided due to the fact that Paul Langer cannot make the second race due to technical issues that also took him out of race number 1. So Max Wolf looks to be set to win the championship in the Amateur Championship. But I think for the pros, Marco, for the overall championship, it's all still to be decided.
It is absolutely, and last race of the season, as I was saying, the majority of the grid with only Pride at stake. So I'm expecting some fireworks tonight, and of course in the second race, and of course the reverse grid always adding some nice seasoning to the proceedings. So we only have to wait, I think, 5 more seconds, and then the drivers will start to appear on the grid, and that is exactly what is happening. And here we go with your starting grid for race 2, the final race of the season.
Absolutely, and finishing 14th in race 1 is Thomas Wangen, reverse grid pole position with Simon Personi in second. James Parker will start third, the highest of the amateur drivers in this race. Goddestad in fourth, then Pascal Costa, championship leader, next to Max Wolf, amateur championship leader. So those two wanting to get as many points as possible. Max Wolf will probably be hoping to not drop down too many places, while Pascal Costa will be going for that win for sure. Sam Fitzpatrick will start 7th with Thomas Torp in 8th. Matthias Nogash, Roger Christensen, Nils-Erik Isaacson, Lewis Ward rounding out the top 12, with the front row of the results from race number 1, Matthias Burke, and race 1 winner Kamil Grabowski starting in 14th thanks to that reverse grid. We've also got Thomas Vevior, Kevin Stranger, and a couple of other drivers you can see on the left-hand side of the screen. But now we're getting ready to race as the revs are rising. And we go green for the final time this season. And it's a pretty good start for Personi, who's almost got up alongside Thomas Wangen at the start of the race, heading on down in towards turn number 1. It's a pretty long run down into turn number 1 here at Road American. Wangen makes that move, and he keeps the lead heading in towards turns 2 and 3 now. Almost 3 wide in the background. That looks like Lewis Ward making moves, and almost contact between second and third positions. Pizzoni and Goddestad almost coming together in turn 3 once again. Thomas Torp and Sam Fitzpatrick. Oh, and there's a huge incident here in the midfield at the back of the pack now. Drivers flinging it across the circuit even in Stringer. And a whole host of incidents happening up there. And Rangan goes off at turn 5 along with Wolf as well there. And he's done a good job to keep that out of the wall, but he has lost the lead. But his teammate Goddestad for Fox Gaming has got up in front of Simone Passoni, and he takes the lead of the race. Crucially though, Costa up into third. He's only half a second off the leaders.
Yeah, Passoni got the lead, but just a second after that Goddestad was in front of him. A couple of collisions at the back. And as you were saying earlier, Paul Lange sadly hasn't taken the green flag, therefore his season appears to be done as we go into the kink for the first time. And now down into Kettle Bottoms, which is one of my favorite names for a, I wouldn't say it, corner. And then of course Canada corner, which according to our lovely Austin Knight, and he has been made aware of his mistake several times, but by many drivers, not by me. I would never dare to say anything like that. But for some reason Austin calls it Canadian corner.
Oh yeah. Oh, why wouldn't you? He can call it whatever he wants. He's Austin Knight.
Exactly.
Exactly. So, oh, Christensen getting a little bit racy now. He's got Parker in front of him, the highest positioned AM driver. Maybe not for long. He's got Wolf just behind him as well. And Christensen up the inside into turn 1. Can't make the move, but there goes Parker off the circuit. He's outbraked himself and almost takes the leader of the AM Championship out. Wolf just about gets away with one. I think Rangan did as well, because he almost got collected too by the stricken car, and that's gone from 4th place. Parker's dropped all the way down to 17th, and actually he's now dropped down to 18th, almost 18th as well, with Kev Copeland right behind him as they make their way down the back straight. This is a replay of the start of the race. Let's see what happened here in the middle of the pack, because we saw, oh, Lewis Ward gives Torp a little bit of a tap, and that's why he ends up off the circuit. But what we don't know is what happened after that to cause everybody else to start wrecking. You can see at the bottom of the grid, or the bottom of the field on the left hand side of the timing tower, you can see a lot of drivers that were up near the front of the field that have just been relegated down to the bottom after that lap 1 incident.
So here's Lewis Ward. He spins and all hell breaks loose. Ooh. Meantime, Pascal Costa jumped Passoni, so he's now up to 2nd. And already a bigger gap than what we've seen, I think, in all of race 1 between 1st and 2nd. Now Christensen is in 3rd. Max Wolf, I think that apart from that scare he had the last lap, he is in the 1st lap. You know, things are the best possible for him. You know, perfect. I wouldn't say according to plan, but I wouldn't be sad if I were him in his position right now, because everything seems to be falling into place nicely.
It absolutely does. And for Costa, he's only got a second to gain on Goddestad if he wants to take this win for the final round of the season, and probably take the championship as well if he does end up winning this race. Main championship rival Grabowski not doing as well as I thought he would. He's only in 11th. He's only gained 3 places. He has got ahead of Burke, but considering the wreck that we saw near the start, you'd expect him to have gained more than that. So Grabowski's struggling a little bit in the traffic, which we don't normally see from him. He's normally quite decisive and cuts through the field as if it was butter when he's in the reverse grid. So it's interesting that we
see, he had to slow down for the first wreck and then go to the grass to avoid the second.
That's fine.
He lost a heap of time there.
He did. He has lost a heap of time. Someone who's also lost a heap of time. Oh, there he goes. He gains 2 spots because Silcock and Hutchinson, I think. Somebody else. lost a position to him. I'm not too sure who it was. I think, was it Kessler?
I think Kessler had a problem. He lost a bunch of positions. I think he went deep at 35.
Yes. It was like Silcock might have just followed him.
He lost an entry.
Yep, Silcock followed him. Silcock has been running deep in turn 5 all evening though, so I'm not too sure what's happened there. He needs to move his braking zone, his braking point a little bit further forward. Wolf sideways through the kink there. One of the most terrifying corners in any car, but in the Porsche Cup car it's something else, I think. It really is. And into Canada corner, the tyres are pretty hot as well because you've had that carousel and then you've had the kink too. So the tyres are not happy with you at this point, then putting them under stress to slow down for Canada corner. It's why it's one of the trickiest braking zones on the circuit. Rangan with a lot of pressure behind. Nergash, the pole is less than 0.2 of a second behind. You can see just how close he is looking back at him. There's probably, what, a car's length there maybe? Costa's just set the fastest lap of the race so far at 2:08.256, and look at that gap. That's not a 1.2 second gap anymore, is it, Marco? It's a 0.4 of a second gap, and he's looking very quick indeed out there, Costa.
You see now the situation has settled a bit with all the overtakes, etc. The gap is slowing down is coming down, significantly. In the meantime, Thomas Wangen under big pressure from Mateusz Nogash.
Absolutely, almost bump drafting. They are bump drafting down the back of down the back straight, and that's really interesting. Nogash not looking for the move. He literally pushed Wangen down the straight. He's trying to catch up to the drivers in front, and he thinks using bump drafting is the best way of doing that. I know a couple of seasons ago, if you tried that in the Porsche Cup car, you're definitely turning the other driver around, but with recent updates to the car, it's made it a little bit more stable under contact, especially contact to the rear of the car, and that's allowed them to use this tactic. I wonder if it's going to work out for them. They do have a second and a half to gain over the next driver on the circuit, so see if that tactic works out for them. Meanwhile, Godestad's got to try and figure out how to keep Costa behind, because Costa's flying at the moment.
And of course, we might be seeing a bit more bump drafting in the next few months on Apex Racing TV.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No spoilers at all, but we may or may not have a big announcement to make at Apex Racing League tomorrow. I would like to say morning. I'm pretty sure tomorrow morning. So if you aren't already aware, there might be a new league starting up in the very near future. So if you like bump drafting, then I would probably check out the Apex Racing League Discord server. That's where the announcement is going to be made tomorrow, and it's a big one. So you definitely want to keep up to date with that. And I think now is just about as good a time as any to follow Apex Racing League on social media as well, because the announcement will be there as well. All sorts of information about our leagues and race recaps as well from all the races by motorsports journalist Peter Mackay. Brilliant stuff happening over there. And also check us out on Apex Racing TV on social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. You get highlight videos and reminders so you never miss one of our videos. Is up the inside for the race. Lead goes Costa, and that's going to serve him very nicely indeed. Godestad had no defense for that whatsoever, and Costa is now leading the race. Will he be able to hold on to it? I think so.
Also, if you like these graphics and you want to use them for your own personal streams, your Twitch streams, or maybe you want to broadcast your league, check SDK-gaming.co.uk and you will find this beautiful software called iRacing Live Timing. That is what we use to display all the information on the screen. It has also direct links to your live timing, getting straight from your system. You can broadcast it to the rest of your team, to the viewers. You can use it both as a tool for live broadcasts and of course as a some sort of expanded race engineer for your races, both your own races and your team races. You can adjust strategy, calculate the fuel, check the track map in real time, and it's all highly customizable. And if I can use it, you can use it. SDK-gaming.co.uk for more information. And as per usual, tell them that Marco sent you.
Tell them that Marco sent you and they'll slap an extra £5 onto the price.
Of course, I get a piece of the commission.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, definitely do go and check out SDK Gaming. They do provide all the graphics for us, and we are very grateful for them, because otherwise our broadcast would definitely not look as good. That's very safe to say.
You know,
Costa's actually pulling away from Godestad for a moment,
yeah.
actually.
You know, going back to that very, very quickly, you know, sometimes it comes, you know, when a commentator does the read for the ad, you know, of course, I'm not saying that they are lying, but of course, you know, it's not first-hand experience. Like commentators use this, but only indirectly. I can tell you, as a broadcaster, that I've used other software which are, you know, done with great passion, etc. But trust me, doing a broadcast with this, it is butter smooth, almost as this overtake by Mateusz Nogage on Thomas Vanger.
Well, he might actually send it back up the inside here. That was an awesome move by Nogage there. That was really, really smooth there. And he's just about kept ahead, and oh, they're almost touching as they make their way down towards your favorite bridge of the circuit. Around the outside goes Rangan. That was an awesome attempt around the outside there, but he's left himself a little bit vulnerable. No, he hasn't. He's managed to keep it around the outside. Oh, and they touch. No.
Oh dear.
No guys is around. Oh, and there goes Krabowski also onto the grass.
Oh no, big
and
wreck.
has damage. Oh, that's huge. Oh, and the tires just smacked off Silcock's car as well. That is massive. That's what you get for not respecting the yellow flags.
I think it was Matthias Birk, the car that was involved in the mess. And you will hear a pretty loud bang.
Oh no!
Ouch. And I tell you what, the stewards are not going to be happy about that.
That's what you call an unsafe rejoin. And there is a lovely level 3 penalty for that. So depending on what the stewards think, yeah, that might be a pretty harsh penalty coming the way of Nogage there. That was not the best rejoin in the world. Interesting how you say, Marco, about first-hand experience, because we also have another sponsor to thank for not only the broadcast but also the running of the league. Apex Racing Academy, title sponsor of this Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship, and they provide data packs which include telemetry files and lap guides, commentated lap guides. They walk you through the circuit, the braking points, what to look out for in the circuit, where you might want to overtake, all sorts of stuff. Really, really useful setups as well, all provided by World Championship drivers from Apex Racing Team, MSI Esports and more. And absolutely fantastic over there. Personal experience for myself is using the Rallycross data packs, and specifically John Robertson, who is the driver who finished second in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship in 2020. I managed to qualify, and this is solely due to John Robertson, because without him I would have never done this. I managed to qualify for the iRacing Rallycross All-Star Invitational, which was fantastic. Definitely could not have done it without them. So definitely go and check out Apex Racing Academy at apexracingac.com, because yeah, they're really, really good service there, and it's all integrated with VRS. So you can use their telemetry system to further your advantage on the circuit. So do go and check out Apex Racing Academy, as many of the drivers, in fact all of the drivers, have got a coupon code for Apex Racing Academy. Many of them are members of it, and as you can see, quite a few of them are pretty quick in the Porsche Cup car, and it's there's definitely correlation there.
So, back at the front, Costa, Goderstad, top 2. Goderstad, I thought Daney was going to drop back a bit more, but this wasn't the case. And if you are Max Wolf, how hard are you going to fight for these positions? Because he's fighting hard with Passoni, or very close to him now. I think Vangen and Isaacsen are also coming his way. Actually, let's verify that statement. They are not coming for him, absolutely. He is actually pulling away in the last 2 laps. 0.8 of a second in 1 second, 0.1 on lap 7, and now he's going for the attack on Simone Passoni, so the amateur driver. Looking like, of course we had an amateur driver win race 2 last week at Mosport.
Yep.
Don't think this is going to happen again this week, but another great showing. Shows how strong and competitive this championship really is.
Absolutely. Drivers are absolutely on it at the moment in this series. Much faster than me, that's for sure. All of them, well, most of them are much faster than me. One driver who's definitely not faster than me at all is Mr. Sam Fitzpatrick.
Very anonymous round. Race 1 was nothing to write home about. Race 2 he was in the gravel in the 3rd corner, even though it was the 2nd. And that was it. He's got some big damage.
He's got a lot of damage as well, yeah. He's having to really wrestle the car around the carousel there. You can see him left and right with the wheel. Yeah, he finished 8th in race 1, but we never saw him because he basically gained a lot of positions from others' misfortune, really. And he's had a very quiet round, as Mr. Sam Fitzpatrick. And Wolf, that's not the way to go around the final corner, Max Wolf, because that opened the door very nicely indeed for Passoni to get up alongside you. And now Passoni dropping back from him a little bit, which is interesting. Not with the same straight line speed, maybe a little bit more wing, but in the brakes, on the brakes, there he goes up the inside, and he gets back ahead. I'm not sure if I would have done that, you know. I would have probably waited behind as close as possible because turn 5 is the better overtaking spot. Not only is it a harder braking zone and easier to get past, but you've also got a lot of corners afterwards which are difficult to hold it side by side. So I probably would have waited until turn 5, and he might just pay the price here. He's going to squeeze Wolf all the way almost off the circuit. Oh, in the background, Rangan's been turned around.
Oh. Couple of drivers heard some contact up, but probably it was the car bottoming out. Passoni stayed in front. I saw the car of Vangen in the background go for a wild ride. Was there contact? My question is, and the answer is yes.
Yes, there was. Oh, he's been massively rear-ended there by the driver of the 177. And yeah, that was huge contact there. That was Isaacsen for IGL Coatings iRacing, and he slammed into the back of him. Sam Fitzpatrick making his way through this mess that is in front of him. You can see all of the smoke. Oh, he's dipped wheels onto the grass and he's run off the circuit. He's got lucky there.
He was doing like those onlookers on the highway, no? When there is a crash, they slow down and stick their neck out to see what happened. That's why he went off.
Well, Wolf is dropping back from Passoni. He caught up to him, overtook him, got overtaken again, and now he's dropping back, which is a little bit weird. But he does have Kamil Grabowski a second behind, so that's probably a good enough reason. He's looking in his mirrors at the one of the fastest drivers on the series in Kamil Grabowski, doing a fantastic job to get his way up into 6th at the moment. And just looking here, we've also got Vangen now under pressure from Silcock. Of course, Vangen getting rear-ended into turn 5. He's now got a bit of a recovery drive to make. Next driver up the road from him is 3 seconds up the road, and it's the driver who punted him off, Isaacsen. So a very interesting battle that might be if the two drivers end up catching up to each other. We're getting a replay now, Marco.
Hey, whoa! That was a bit strange because when Wangen hit the brakes, Isaacsen had no idea of braking. Now, if I was a good driver, I would tell you if that was early or late braking by one of the other driver. And also, a moment before the contact, Isaacsen had half of his car in the grass. So certainly quite a...
He really wanted that inside line, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, seeing these cars go sideways. By the way, we haven't looked at the weather, and I forgot to change it back to Celsius, which is something we can all understand.
122.
It's quite hot.
Degrees Fahrenheit. It's quite hot.
That's like here in Rome right now. No?
50 degrees Celsius.
There you go.
That is baking hot, honestly. It's little wonder we've seen some of the drivers struggling to keep their cars under control. That is really hot stuff. Yeah. If you are not aware, when the track gets hot, and by hot I mean 30 degrees Celsius, anything over 25 really, the car starts to lose grip a lot easier. The tyres overheat, and it's all around not a pleasant driving experience. However, when it reaches 50 degrees Celsius, or 122 degrees Fahrenheit, it goes from an unpleasant driving experience to an impossible driving experience. So I don't know how any of these drivers actually keep the car on the circuit. 50 degrees is unbelievably hot for the track to get to. And yeah, they're definitely going to be struggling. Somebody's just got into the pit lane. That's Bervin. And that's why his car is, well, quite damaged, it's fair to say.
Dane, I always remember every year when I watch the, especially 24 Hours of Daytona, as Max Wolf looking on the inside of Bassoni, and they interview the drivers during the night. They're always very happy. The first thing they say, you know, and it gets very, very cold there at Daytona during the 24-hour race at night. They say, yeah, after the first 2 or 3 laps, when the tires get into temperature, the cool tarmac, it's a dream to drive the cars. A different story, of course, during the day. So yeah, it's certainly quite a big challenge. Especially when you have to drive a car with so little aero grip, so little mechanical grip. I mean, this is quite literally one of the toughest cars you can drive, I think, in all the service. And a proving ground made by Porsche to, you know, filter through the
drivers like me.
The drivers like, you know, you know, through the ranks, and maybe finally find some drivers for the you know, GT or prototypes programs, you know. So it's certainly and one of the few cars, by the way, that is designed to work both with and without ABS, you know.
Yeah.
We had the sad news earlier this season, or last year, I should say, that DTM were switching to GT3 competition for this season. That's a very sad news. And they were looking into ways of making the cars unique. And one of the proposals was, oh, let's remove ABS. And no, that is not. You are going to have many injured drivers, because the brakes are designed with ABS in mind, no? So you cannot just deselect the ABS and let the drivers race. But this car in some series, for example, the Brazilian Porsche Cup, uses ABS, and so it can be used both with and without.
I believe in the Nürburgring Endurance Championship as well, or whatever it's called now, VLN. It's got a new name. But yeah, they use it there as well, I believe, in the endurance series, and in Assetto Corsa Competizione. I know that you can select it with the ABS. I'm not sure if you can do it without. I think it's only with the ABS, and that's because that's what they use in the endurance spec of the car. I think it's what they use in the 24-hour series, maybe as well. Which makes sense. I wouldn't want to drive the Porsche Cup for a very long time without ABS. It would be a bit too much for me personally. As we've just seen, by the way, Grabowski make a move on Wolf, and he's right on the back of Pisoni too.
I know this little thing just only because in Automobilista, of course, which have Brazilian simulator, they have scanned the cars from the Brazilian Championship, and they have ABS, and in the beta part of the I'm one of the early backers, so I have the beta forum access, etc. And someone was, why do you have the ABS? They explained, and I totally didn't know this. It was quite a surprise, and it changed the car completely. By the way, knowing that when you can brake, the car will brake and not try to kill you, it is a big advantage, especially if you're saying in enduros. It is particularly welcomed. With Grabowski, as he's trying to get all of the draft from Passoni, apologies, with Wolf lurking behind, but now dropping to 1 second behind the former Le Champion of the series. Here he goes on the inside, the evolved driver for the move. Once again, he will expose himself to a possible attack in turn 5 by the Italian, like as we saw earlier with other drivers that were battling. Now it's a long run from turn 3 to turn 5 under the cheese bridge. And actually Passoni getting out of the draft. And Grabowski already defending the inside. But Passoni doesn't have enough to go for the pass, and so Grabowski stays in fourth place, yes.
Oh, have a little battle going on here. Isaacson making his way up through the field, or trying to make his way up through the field. After running super deep into turn 5, taking Rangan with him. You can just about see Rangan in the background of the shot for a moment there, but not anymore. You might be able to see him now as they head underneath the bridge and into the carousel. He's not got long, 2.5 minutes left of the race. And is that going to be... This is interesting. Is that going to be 1 more lap or 2 more laps? It's going to be one more. It's going to be 1 more lap, because there's not enough time to finish an extra lap, because the lap is 2 minutes and 6, 7, 8 seconds. Ooh, a little bit of a slide from cross over the line. And we have less than 2 minutes remaining. So, white flag on the season then. 1 more lap. And it looks like this man right here, Pascal Costa, is in prime position to take the championship.
It is, of course, a good time as any time to remind you that everything will be, of course, temporary until the judges, the stewards, will make their final decisions, because we have to consider not only the protest results, of course, which will come during the week, but also the outstanding penalties. Basically, drivers accumulate penalty points during the season. And if they don't have a clean slate by the end of the season... Oh, what's happened there in the back? Cars going...
Oh, that's Sam Fitzpatrick.
No, it was Silcock.
Oh no,
and
it's Hutchinson. Sam Fitzpatrick and Hutchinson have very similar numbers.
Yeah, so basically what I'm saying is that drivers also, if they have 2 or more license points... ouch! It's bad. They have penalties to be, and these penalties can only be calculated after the end of the season. So everything you hear from us and we say, take it with a pinch of salt. Even though I think, the champions especially are probably not going to change, but still, buyers beware.
Absolutely. Well, 2 braking zones left for Pascal Costa in the season for Season 3 of the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship. That was one of them, Canada corner. A bit of a lift up and over the crest of this final left-hander and then into the last corner on the circuit. And Costa slowing down slightly through there, taking all the runoff on the outside, and he knows it. He's waving. He is extremely happy with his performance out there today in the 167 Impulse Racing Porsche Cup car. Flash of the headlights, he crosses the line, and wins the final race of the season. You can see just how happy he is with that, and he probably has just won the championship as well. Max Wolf, he's probably just taken the amateur championship title as well. Also, a weave and a flash of the headlights across the line. Both those drivers know what these results mean for them, and you can see he's almost losing control of the car. He's leaving it so much for Evo SR in the 218 machine. You can see there is Costa. He's just running down the back straightaway now, but Marco, a fantastic performance of both of those drivers this season. They've been so consistent.
Absolutely. Hopefully we can hear from them in just a few minutes in the post-race interviews, as I was waiting for some donuts from both of the champions-elect.
Oh, some burnouts.
Disappointing from Costa. This was the Max Verstappen burnout from 2 weeks ago. Congratulations to Max Wolf then, who gets the second biggest honor of the tournament. The first, of course, being teammates to Sam Fitzpatrick, and the second, of course, being the champion. Or maybe the other way around.
I think he might be about to get rear-ended, but oh no, he's not. Never mind.
Gotta be careful with the intentional wrecks because they are protestable after. I know they're doing some formation flying, but I can say if I see Sam hit another car, I might report him for intentional wreck. After
there were some donuts. There were tire marks from donuts, but yeah, someone was doing donuts, so we can't see much from that camera angle. At least not on my screen, anyway.
We are waiting for one driver, and that is Joe McCauley, and then we will have the race results for tonight. I will use this moment to say a massive thanks to Dane Baird, who has to run in front of the television, and so he will leave us right now. Dane, thank you very much. It was a fantastic season. Go and enjoy the end of the game.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Thanks everybody for watching, and what a season it's been. Can't wait for the next one.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Dane, and we'll catch you very, very soon. And that was, of course, Dane Baird, who was not being interviewed, but of course he was running to get the end of the game tonight, the England game, and hopefully it ends very well for him. That being said, the results for tonight, for race 2, of course, Pascal Costa is your winner. He wins by 1.9 seconds in front of Joe Vegar, Goderstad, Roger Christiansen, Camille Grabowski is 4th, and Simone Passoni is in 5th. Max Wolf, your champion-elect for the amateur class, in front of Max Kessler. Of course, Max Wolf has won the amateur race too. Max Kessler needs Eric Isaacsen. Thomas Vangen, Sam Fitzpatrick rounds up the top 10 in front of Thomas Vevior, Thomas Thorpe, James Parker, Kev Copeland, Thor, Anders Berven, Joe McCauley, Mark Silcock, and Mark Hutchinson in 18th place. Kevin Stringer is 19th, and then a list of retirees: Matthias Burke, Mateusz Nogai, Louis Ward, and Paul Lange, who sadly did not take the green flag after suffering from hardware issues during race 1. Of course, your winner last week in at Mosport. Time for a couple of interviews then, and who better to start the proceedings tonight than Pascal Costa. There he is, of course. Pascal Costa rudely interrupted from his chat with his fellow competitors. Pascal, welcome to the broadcast booth, and we know we have to still do the calculations and the penalties, etc. But it's safe to say you bring home a nice victory tonight in race 2, and more importantly, you bring home the overall title.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I aimed for it, and I have to say I've been a bit lucky because Camille had to finish his school, and because of that he missed the last 2 races, so I got a little bit lucky there, but I trained my ass off to get every week on pace, and I like to take this chance to say sorry to Mark D. Hutchinson for the incident in Chicago. and Roger Fjellstedt Christiansen for the last incident on Mosport. That is not my type of racing, as should everybody know, and I always try to fight hard but still fair.
And it was a very, very hard-fought championship. We have seen some incredibly close competition. That first race, especially. Of course, you were starting there at the back, but at the front they were so tightly packed. And we have seen also in this race you had to fight to get past Goderstad, and then when you went past him, he was close to you for quite a few laps. Then you, of course, had the decisive push in the end. But we've seen amateur drivers win races fighting for podiums. It was, I think, a season where only the best could come out on top, and so I think you should be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty happy, and I have to say, only if you're amateur, that does not mean that you're a bad racer. Like Paul showed, if you train well and put in the work, it doesn't matter how much iRating you have, and where you stand in the championship. Every race starts from scrap, and if you put the time in, train your put the hours in, you can still do a very good race and a very good weekend for you.
Pascal, congratulations again on the race, and of course for the championship win, if that would be confirmed by the post-race calculations. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my teammates and my father, because he's really proud of me that I'm doing this, and I never thought that, because sim racing is such a niche. Thanks for all the supports of my friends and teammates. I'm very happy to have you, and thank you very much for that great season, Apex Racing League and Apex Racing TV for the broadcasts and stuff. I very enjoyed to watch every single race the next day, to get a little bit of recap what happened, and I think the quality was very high. Thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you, Pascal, and enjoy the summer break then.
Thank you very much. I will.
And that was Pascal Costa, and now let's have a chat with our amateur champion-elect, Max Wolf, also winner of Race 2. Hello, Max. Welcome to the broadcast booth. How are you doing?
Hello. Yeah, I'm doing really well right now.
Yeah, I mean, if the calculations are correct, and of course, as I was saying earlier, post-race penalties, etc., we all know the story. But it's looking very good for you on the amateur championship side. Tell us about your season, and how did it all come to tonight to seal the championship?
Well, first of all, I know the end result isn't completely clear, but I want to congratulate Paul on a really good season. We brought the battle right to the last race. So, but yeah, my season, well, it started off pretty strong at Oran, but I guess there was just a bit of beginner's luck, because from my feeling, I fell a bit backwards in speed and pace, and I really needed to get used to the car again. And then at Chicago, I really found the confidence, and I could push the car. But yeah, the whole season has been strong and consistent, and I would like to thank the guys from EvoSR a lot for helping me make it possible.
So, of course, victory in your class in race 1 and in race 2 and race 1. So you were able to get the job done in both races. What was your mindset getting into the race tonight, and when you saw that Paul was having issues with his hardware? Did that change your mentality, especially going into race 2? Because of course this is a place where if you make a mistake, everyone was so tightly bunched. You make a mistake here, you can lose a lot of positions, and it is a track that has not a lot of runoff area. Walls are very close. So what was your mentality racing, especially into race 2?
Coming into race 1, first of all, I was really nervous. I just went in like I got nothing to lose, or I got nothing to lose, but I got all. Sorry, but yeah, I was just being careful, trying to avoid contact, don't make any stupid moves or anything, just finish. And then I saw Paul struggling a bit, which, to be honest, I didn't like it because I would like to see a fair battle till the end. But changing the mentality in race 2, it took quite a bit of pressure off because I knew I didn't have to push as hard or as much to get the results I wanted.
Well, Max, congratulations. It's been a perfect ending to a great season. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, just the whole of EvoSR for making it possible. Really big congratulations to them, and to Pascal Costa for winning the overall championship.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Max, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Now let's have a chat with Joe Vegar Goderstad, who's
Hello.
with us tonight. Welcome to the booth. It was nice driving out there tonight, especially in the second race. Come home with a podium. Tell us about your evening.
Yeah, first race was a little bit unlucky and had a mistake which cost me and Passion the race. So started on the front because of that in the last race. I knew I had the pace, but when Pascal also came up with me, I knew he would win. I couldn't fight him.
But I have to say, especially for the first couple of laps, even a bit more than that, after the overtake, you were able to stay very, very close to him. Of course, then, we know how these things work. If the driver has a bit more pace, then come the end of the race, the gap will increase a bit. But in the end, I think you can be satisfied with a great podium in race 2. We have talked with Pascal earlier during his interview how tough the competition has been this season. How would you rate your season now that it is over?
It's my first season racing in Apex. It's been pretty good, can't complain. Yeah, so thanks for putting it all up. It's been really fun and mostly good racing. Very friendly people.
Well, so it was great having you tonight, Joe. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I would like to thank my teammates, Thomas, Roger, the Fast guys, also our sponsors Adidas and Noco, among Power. Yeah, also Fox Gaming. Shout out to this for support.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, and we will catch you next time, hopefully.
Yeah, thanks. See you next time.
Time for one final interview, and although he finished very, very back in the field, I think he's already done his own calculations. Sam Fitzpatrick, welcome to the booth. How's it going?
All right, thanks. A little bit, melancholy as you get to the end of the season. You kind of want it to continue for a few more rounds because it's been fun, but pleased with the how the 9 meetings went.
So I grabbed you in front of deserving drivers because I'm sure you already did the calculation for the points, right?
No.
No? Wow, okay, this defeats the whole purpose.
Well, I know Max won the title. I know Max Wolf won the title. And I think I was like 8th or something. I'm quite self-centered, so I don't really care where anyone else finished. But I think I was about 8 at the end,
So we were watching the race, and in race 1 you finished in the top 10, even though I don't think we ever showed you on camera, so you had pretty calm race. Then race 2 was a bit different, because after 200-300 meters, you found yourself in the kitty litter. What happened? We saw there was a couple of incidents there, but then you had to work hard to make a valiant comeback to finish 10th.
Yeah, there was. My starts were dreadful tonight. Even in race 1, got quite a bit of wheel spin, but I was very fortunate to gain like 6th place in lap 1. And then race 2, the start was even worse. So I was straight away behind slightly. Yeah, just minding my own business. And then there was a couple of cars who just collided ahead, spun in front of me, and unfortunately forced me off the circuit. But yeah, managed to get back up to 10th. Didn't really have good pace throughout the night. I felt like Max was faster than me throughout. He was only slightly faster in qualifying, but he was much faster in the races. So wasn't super pleased with that, but yeah, just kind of picked up the pieces and yeah, a couple of top 10s. I think that's the first time this season that I've got 2 top 10s, so I'll take that.
Awesome. Well, Sam, it was a nice season from you, with also a podium last time around in Canada. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Big thanks to the Evo guys, to Mark and Kev and Max and Bob and co. Thanks to them for inviting me along. Huge congrats to Max. He fully deserves the amateur title. Of course, he's been around in a few ARL series, so it's really good for him to get the title. So congratulations to him. And thanks to you and Dane and Peter, yourself in particular, because you've done more commentary than anyone else this season and all the broadcasting as well. And you've had to do the interviews by yourself tonight. So big thanks to all your help this season.
Sam, I just realized I was so focused into getting the ball rolling for the broadcast tonight, etc., that I forgot to drink my coffee. So I'm drinking it right now, 1 hour and a half
did
later.
You cope?
After I made. So I mean, if that is not commitment from an Italian, I don't know what is.
Well, I'll see you. I'll see you soon. See you for the next season.
Yes, thanks a lot, Sam, and yes, good night to you, and we'll catch you the next time.
Thanks, Marco.
And that was Sam Fitzpatrick, of course, and this is all she wrote for this season of the ARA Porsche Cup Championship live on Apex Racing TV. A massive thank you to everyone who made this broadcast possible. Of course, the drivers, the good folks at the Apex Racing Academy, VRS, Apex Racing League, and of course SDK Gaming for their beautiful graphics that we used in big quantity during these 9 rounds. And a big thanks also to the people that have done last minute substitutions. Big thanks to Sam Kumo in round 1 who covered for myself. That was the only round I missed. I have to say that these 8 rounds that I have the pleasure to commentate and or broadcast have made up, that round I missed. The action was fantastic, and this was, of course, in big part thanks to the fantastic action on track provided by these drivers. Thank you to the viewers, of course. They've been keeping the chat exciting all throughout the 9 rounds of this league. And before we say goodbye and good night, let me tell you, of course, to keep an eye on ApexRacingLeague.com. We have, of course, new leagues in the oven. One of them, as Dane was teasing earlier, will be probably announced later tomorrow morning or midday. And if you're a lover of Porsche, you have something to look forward to. I cannot say anything more than that, but we have something special in a program for specifically for Porsche lovers here on Apex Racing League and Apex Racing TV. Speaking of Apex Racing TV, well, the summer goes on, but the broadcasts don't stop. And so let me just remind you that we are going to have a week full of exciting racing with the Radical Racing Challenge, our next meeting. That is going to be Friday at 9 GMT. That will be Sonoma, of course, the live stream of the top split of the official Radical Championship on iRacing. Always very exciting. On Saturday at 10:45 GMT, the Formula 3.5 Championship is back for round 4. That will be from Montreal at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. On Sunday, it will be at 7 GMT, of course, round 4 of the Wave Italy Apex Racing League GT Championship from Mosport, so we stay in Canada. But as you know, Sunday is very, very full of excitement. at 7:55 GMT, we are going to have the Weekend Warriors, Spec Racer Ford Racing from Oran Park. And with an asterisk, we should have IGP Fun round 4 that should start at 8:25 GMT, but of course the series organizer Luca, being Italian and being a lot of Italian and English drivers in that championship, the postponement of the round is not outside the realm of possibilities, given that Italy is in the final and England are right now as we speak battling to get there. For those who don't watch, they are tying 1-1 with Denmark with 15 minutes left in the second half. So we'll keep you posted on that. Follow us on our social media, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. You will be notified when we go live, and any changes of the schedule you can easily find on our YouTube page or on apexracingtv.com/schedule. And a new entry, of course, that will be later that day, later on Sunday or early Monday, depending on where you are in the world. XSLR GT3 from Road Atlanta, round 1. It's going to be fantastic. And then later on Monday or the next day, depending on where you are, of course, at 7 GMT, Apex Racing League Mazda Cup from Bathurst. Don't want to miss that. And later that day, in the American evening European night, Rick Modek is back, the Sports Car Series round 1 from Imola. And of course, GT Trophy is back on Tuesdays, and we circle back, of course, to nothing on Wednesdays, of course, because this series is over, and back to the Radicals, of course, on Friday. So thank you very much for watching this broadcast. Thank you very much for following us and sharing this championship with us. We hope we provided you for some great entertainment for these 9 weeks. But from everyone here at Apex Racing TV, I wish you, as per usual, a good night and God bless.